says, as a nation of people, we will serve our enemies. You know? Now that enemy, who you think that's talking about?
We know who. White man.
Okay, now you see he said it.
Yeah.
They were like, shh, we can't say it.
I didn't know. It wasn't like that.
That's who, Donald, who did that? Who put yokes of iron on our necks in Jamaica?
What?
Who put yokes of iron on our necks here in America?
Come on.
White man.
Sis, who did that? Who put yokes of iron on our neck here in America? Who put yokes of iron on our neck in Jamaica? Yes, you do. Say it again for her, Donald. Because think about it. Look, this is the image right here, sis.
Bring it out, Cap.
This is the image. You see this? Did the Chinese man do that to us?
Make it plain.
No, so you know who did it.
Right.
But the sisters are scared to say it.
Gad, a troop shall overcome him.
Now, what did he say that mean? It says, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, which means what? What did that mean?
The tribe, like,
When overcome him means what? What's the overcoming?
Overcome, like to overcome. Like it speaks for itself.
Give me another word. Give me something else.
Like overcome, oversee, or come forward.
How about this word? Conquer.
Conquer.
Bring it out.
Right? Because he mentioned Columbus, he mentioned Cortez. Those were conquistadors. What does that word mean? It means a conqueror.
Right.
Conquistadors means conquerors.
Right. Bring it
Y'all
out.
start inhabiting this land first, and they came and conquered and overcame y'all.
Bring it out.
You understand? Which goes into what word? Remember the word he told y'all when y'all came up? Slavery. Y'all want to see slavery in the Bible? That's what that's talking about. Read it.
Right.
Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
So it says a troop would enslave y'all, but in the last days you would overcome that troop.
Bring it out.
That hadn't happened yet. You understand? So it's something that y'all must identify and start doing before y'all can overcome them. Because right now we're in the same position as y'all. We're on the bottom of society.
Right.
You see that? Give me Deuteronomy 28. Matter of fact, go to 2 Ezra 13. Give me that one. Let's start there.
Bring it out.
Let me show y'all how y'all got to this side. So you came back. You came back. Watch this. You said earlier that you were native, but you was like, okay, so are you African American? What are you? What do you identify as? If you were gonna fill out a job application,
I'm an individual.
you ain't gonna put, what's your name again?
Yeah.
You're not gonna put individual on a job
They
application.
ain't got it on the job application. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They say, what is your race? What is your ethnicity?
It's not individual.
What would you put?
African American black.
Okay, what would you put, sis?
Black.
Okay, y'all would put that. Now, that means y'all would be from the tribe of Judah.
Right.
You understand? Judah. Right? Not the so-called natives would be from the tribe of Gad, you had Reuben, so forth and so on. These quote-unquote Northern Kingdom tribes are here all the way down were the original inhabitants of this land. So now, do y'all identify with the people that were here before the conquistadors, or y'all came here on slave ships afterwards? Like my ancestors came afterwards. Okay, y'all agree with that. All right, 2 Ezra 13, let's read it real quick, and then we'll jump to the other part. Watch this.
Look at 2 Ezra chapter 13, verse 40.
Bring it out.
These are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Josiah the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive.
Now, this is going into ancient history. Listen, this is the Bible. Look at this. This is the Holy Bible. Read that again.
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land.
Listen to what they're saying. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried prisoners out of their own land. What does this have to do with religion? Nothing. This is a historical book. That's what it's saying.
Right.
These 10 tribes were carried away prisoners out of their own land. Read on.
In the time of Josiah the king,
You should stick around, brother. Read on.
whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive. And he carried them over the waters.
And he carried them over the waters. Read on.
And so came they into another land.
Watch this.
And they took this counsel.
Hey, officer, Josiah, you got your phone? Give me Arcerith real quick. Read on.
And they took this counsel among themselves.
Now it says those 10 tribes. Now it's 12 on the sign. But 10 of the tribes took counsel among themselves, read on,
that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into
because they were carried away captive. They said, once they were given liberty, they says, we're going to take counsel and leave all these people, read on,
and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
So 10 of those tribes, God's chosen people, will go into a further land where nobody was dealing at one particular time. Watch this.
That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
That they might keep their statutes, the Bible, that they never kept in their own land. That's the reason why they were carried away captive in the first place. Read on.
And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High.
Now, the Euphrates River is on the eastern hemisphere. Watch this.
For the
Matter of fact, let me see. The map is up in here. The Euphrates is up in here somewhere. All right? Read on.
For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood, till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely, of a year and a half.
So from the eastern hemisphere to this side, it took them a year and a half. They made stops and so forth for food and different provisions. Watch this.
And the same region is called Arcerith.
Now listen, sis. It's saying where the 10 tribes moved themselves to or traveled to, it's called Arcerith in the Bible. Now, OZ, I want you to show them that. Show it to them. It's called Arcerith. Now, I want y'all to see what Arcerith is. Watch this. Just read it out loud to them.
So
Arcerith. You got to show it to them so they can see it.
It says the name.
Y'all see it?
No, it's the sun. The sun is.
Okay.
I'll read it though. It says the name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the
So, OZ, since they can't see it, just read it on the mic. Let's read it on the mic.
It says the name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man,
It says, far away from the habitation of man, read on,
in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of restoration, according to, what's that? Second Ezra 45.
That's what we just read, according to this, right? Read on.
Columbus identified America with this land.
You see what it says? Columbus identified America with what the Bible calls Arcerith. You see that? So that means who came here first? The 10 tribes of Israel.
Right.
You understand? And Columbus came here. Cortez, like the officer mentioned, the conquistadors came and conquered or enslaved the Israelites that dwelt here. You understand? So now, give me that in Deuteronomy 7:6. Watch.
Read it out.
I'm going to show y'all. Now, God created all nations. Y'all agree with that? Does God love all nations the same?
Bring it out.
What you say, sis?
Go get her.
God loves all nations the same. You agree with that? Okay. Now, let's think about this. Did this happen to us as a people? This is in our history, right? Did one nation of people do this to another nation of people?
Daniel.
Yeah, they did.
Daniel.
Like, who did this? Who did this to black people? Black, Hispanic, and Native American. Who did this to us? Was it the Chinese? Who did it?
You know.
We know.
Yeah, we know, but yeah.
Who did it, sis? You don't want to say it?
You
Okay.
know.
You know why y'all don't say it? Because we still see them as Jesus. They, listen, when they did this to us, they also taught us this here.
Right.
This is not in the Bible. We're going to clip a lot of things today. That's what I'm trying to focus on, okay? We were talking a lot of lies, a lot of confusion, but watch this, Deuteronomy 7:6. Just like what y'all just said. God created all nations, I agree with you. And we were taught that he loves everybody the same. Guess what they taught us that? In Christianity. That's not in the Bible. Watch this. Deuteronomy 7:6. Read.
Look at Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people.
The Lord thy God had chosen thee to be a special people. Read on.
Unto himself, above all people.
No equal.
Above all people.
Under.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Now, sis, come on. Y'all, I want y'all to see this. Turn the Bible around so they can see that after you. Deuteronomy 7, verse 6. You see that? Read it.
My voice is kind of.
Okay, you read it.
No, I'm not reading it.
I'll read it. I want y'all to see
My
it.
voice is kind of going that side.
Okay, y'all see it, right?
Yeah.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. What does that say?
Above all.
Above all people. So that means God chose a particular people. Out of all nations, he has a special people. Guess who those people are? God. These people here that were enslaved, colonized, conquered, beat, raped, robbed, murdered, those are God's special people. But now, if that happens to them, how are they special? And why did that happen? We're going to read that now. Deuteronomy 28. Now I'm going to show y'all the reason why, because this goes into your first question where y'all came up in slavery in the Bible. Watch this. Deuteronomy 28, verse 15.
Look at Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou...
So now, although you're chosen and you're above everybody else, it shall what?
It shall come to pass,
Meaning it's going to happen.
if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
Remember, it said the 10 tribes, when they came here, it said that they were going to keep the statutes, which they didn't keep before. That was their original intention when they came here. They said, we're going to go somewhere else and keep God's commandments here. But it says, if they don't do that, read on. Keep going.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So now, a curse, is that a good thing or a bad thing? So God says to his chosen people, if you don't keep my commandments, curses are going to come upon you as a people. Now, verse 32.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
What did it say?
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people. That's our history, right? What is that talking about? What's the easy word for that? Slavery. You see that? Read on.
And thine eyes shall look and fill with longing for them all the day long.
Now, you haven't seen any slave movies? Y'all haven't seen any slave movies like 12 Years a Slave, Roots, anything like that?
Look him up, Captain.
When they took the sons and daughters from the mothers and daughters, what did the parents, what were they able to do to get them back?
They have to fight to get them back, right?
But did they? Were they able to fight to get them back? They couldn't do anything, right? Watch what it says again. Read it again.
And thine eyes shall look.
No, read it from the top.
Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long.
Your eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. Watch this.
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
There will be no might to get them back. You see that?
So it's like they do it.
Right. That's our history. So the stuff you watch in the movies is biblical history. This is prophecy that became history, our history. Read on.
Verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
Now that goes back into the original inhabitants, the Native Americans and so forth. They had crops here, and the conquistadors came and took all the resources. That's what this is talking about. Read it again.
The fruit of thy land and all thy laborers shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
Shall a nation which you don't know, they're going to come and eat up and steal all your resources. You see that? Read on.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
Thou shalt be only crushed always. Now give me verse 37.
Verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
Remember, this is a curse. He says you're going to become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations. So now, in America, they call us what? What are some of the, like I asked your pops, what's his nationality? What do they call us here? African American, Black, Negro, Afro-American, Black Americans. That's a proverb. Those are bywords. You understand what I'm saying? Because anything God calls us, they don't call us Judah. You know what Judah means? Judah means God's praise. But they say, no. Y'all not God's praise. You're Black American. The name America in itself comes from a white man. Amerigo Vespucci. You ever heard that before, brother? Where you from? Jamaica. Look at this. From the tribe of Benjamin. That's your biblical tribe. My sister's here from the tribe of Judah. We're the same nation of people.
That's right.
When you see your brothers from Jamaica and the islands and so forth, more than likely, tribe of Benjamin. You understand? Read it again.
And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword.
Let me ask you this, sir. What's your name?
Donald.
Donald. So now you're Jamaican, right? What does Jamaica mean?
What do you mean? What does
The word, what does it mean? I want y'all to listen to this too. Because remember what I just said to them. In this land, they call us Black Americans, African Americans, Afro Americans. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That's called a proverb and a byword. The name America itself comes from a white man. Amerigo Vespucci. You understand? So Jamaica means the land of wood and water. That's what it means.
Right. Well, no. The Jamaica represents the land of wood and water.
That's what the word means.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
are you a land of wood and water? You. Are you a land of wood and water?
No.
No. That's when you call yourself Jamaican. That's what you're saying. I'm a land of wood and water. No, you're not. That's called what again? Read this again. 37.
And thou shalt become an astonishment,
You should become an astonishment.
a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
Among all nations, because y'all became the land of wood and water. We became Black Americans, but God calls you no. God says you're Benjamin. God calls us Judah. You understand what I'm saying? These are biblical curses that befell God's chosen people, the 12 tribes of Israel. Now give me verse 48. Watch this.
Verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
God says, as a nation of people, we will serve our enemies. You know? Now that enemy, who you think that's talking about?
We know who it is.
Who?
White man.
Okay. Now you see, he said it.
Yeah.
They were like, shh, we can't say it.
I didn't know. It wasn't like that.
That's who it's talking about.
Right.
God says we will do what? Now, sis, remember I said, this is the Bible, the Holy Bible.
Yeah, the Bible.
Have we been going over
Bible.
Catholicism, Baptist, Pentecostal, so forth? This is all about history.
No.
See what I'm
Bible teach
saying?
you
This is
about
historical stuff. Read it again.
everything.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the
God said, remember, these are the curses. It says, if you don't keep the commandments, curses are going to come upon you as a people. Read this again.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
Which who?
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
That's why it happened. That's why the conquistadors came here. The Lord sent them against us. Why? Because we broke God's commandments.
Right.
We started to go into idolatry, fornication, adultery, all type of sins. You see what I'm saying? You know?
And hunger, and in thirst.
So now, brother, what's your name?
Donald.
Donald. Okay. Donald. The Bible says we will serve our enemies of food, water, and what else?
And in nakedness.
So for food, water, and nakedness means food, water, and clothing, we have to serve our enemies. You understand? You know?
And in want of all things.
And lack of all things. Watch this.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Now, it says he. Sisters, I want y'all to listen to this part again. Y'all got distracted. Watch this again.
And he,
Read it from the top.
therefore, shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness.
So for food, water, and clothing, we have to serve our enemies. Watch this.
And in want of all things.
Watch this next.
And he shall put a yoke.
Notice it says, and he. He, but it's not talking about one individual. It's talking about that nation of people that God sent against us. He shall do what?
Shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
He shall do what?
Put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, until he have destroyed thee.
So Donald, who did that? Who put yokes of iron on our necks in Jamaica?
White man.
Who put yokes of iron on our necks here in America?
White man.
Sis, who did that? Who put yokes of iron on our neck here in America?
She from Jamaica too, Cap.
You from Jamaica. Who put yokes of iron on our neck in Jamaica? Yes, you do. Say it again for her, Don. Because think about it. Look, this is the image right here, sis.
Bring it out, Cap.
This is the image. You see this? Did the Chinese man do that to us?
Make it plain.
No, so you know who did it.
Right.
But the sisters are scared to say it.
Right.
They don't want to say it. They're still scared. And we understand why. We understand why. But guess what? You're in front of you with your brothers right now.
Right,
These are
that's
men of the
right.
Lord. We're not scared.
Right.
The Lord did not give us a spirit of fear.
Bring it out.
That's why I'm out here teaching the truth. Thus said the Lord God. This Bible is not a religious book. Now read that again first.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
Now, what you missed, sister, is God told these people here, the 12 tribes of Israel, if they break God's commandments, curses will come upon them as a people. You understand? This is one of the curses we're reading right here. Read it again for her.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, and hunger, and in thirst,
Now it said we would serve our enemies. It says hunger and in thirst,
and in nakedness.
which means food, water, and clothing. We have to serve our enemies for those things. That happened in slavery, right? Now, what's the difference now? Who do we have to get food, water, and clothing from? I'll let you go first, Donald. Who do we get food, water, and clothing from today?
Other corporations, but you know, we need them already.
The same people eat it, right? So it's the same thing now. Who do we get food, water, and clothing from today? It's the same thing. You understand? Read on.
And in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
What's going on, sir? What tribe you from?
Next door.
Come look at the sign real quick. Look at the sign. Right here. Look at number, well, it's not number, but the second to last one. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Issachar is your biblical tribe. Hey, sisters, where y'all going? I want to read one more thing to y'all real quick. Now it says he should do what?
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he has destroyed thee.
Now verse 68 for them.
Two more things after this. One more after this one.
Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Now he's talking to the Israelites. Y'all heard about the Israelites being delivered out of Egypt. Y'all remember that history. God is saying through Moses, he should do what?
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
The Lord is going to bring you into Egypt again with ships. That's how we got to this side. To